Hooray! Hi guys, it's a girl Lela Matams, also known as Gelo Pazed, girl from Zambia. If you're new to this YouTube channel, please subscribe so that each time I upload videos, you'll be notified that Gelo Pazed I post a video. So in this live stream, we are talking about what is happening in Zimbabwe. I have so many subscribers from Zimbabwe that have been asking me to talk about what's happening in Zimbabwe. And then I also have a friend of mine, Martin, who's a Zimbabwean, that will be joining us in a few minutes, that will be talking about what's happening in Zimbabwe. And, it's best to also hear things from a Zimbabwean. But if you haven't come across this hashtag, there's a hashtag that's going on in Zimbabwe or online, which is Zimbabwean Lives Matter. Please make sure you use that hashtag. Zimbabwe is a neighboring country of Zambia. And Zimbabwe and Zambia have a very close relationship. And what affects Zimbabwe definitely affects us, because we are one. We are one Africa, and therefore it's imperative that we share the concerns of our brothers and sisters. Each time I talk about the issues of Zambia, Zimbabweans are always, on my live streams, they share what's going on. So let's talk about what's happening in Zimbabwe. So I came across loads of tweets and information regarding the president of Zimbabwe that is stopping people from protesting. So meanwhile, let me invite Martin that will speak to us. Martin, I hope you're ready now so that you can speak to us about what's going on in Zimbabwe. So thank you. Make sure you share. And for those of you who want to join the stream, I am about to drop the link. Hi, Talala Lawrence. Talala Lawrence. We want peace in the whole of Africa. Obviously, that's our role here on this YouTube platform. We just don't focus on one country. We focus on all the African countries, because we believe if we can voice out our concerns, then change will come. Recently, we've seen what has been going on in Zambia, where if you try to protest, you are stopped. It's happening in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, it's even worse. Zimbabweans were bold enough to go to the front line to try to protest. We've had frontline workers from Zimbabwe trying to protest, and they are put in custody. Let's listen to Martin. Martin, come and sit down. Let's listen to Martin. Share this stream. So Martin is here. Hi, Martin. How are you?
Hi. Sorry, for some reason I can't hear you clearly.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. You just speak. The floor is yours.
Hold on.
Yeah. Obviously, I was asking you questions a few days ago.
My volume is very high, but
yeah. Okay. So a few days ago, yeah, I can hear you. So you can just speak about what's happening in Zimbabwe. We'll hear you.
You can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. You're very clear.
Wait, hold on.
Okay. So obviously there is what you call. Yeah.
Technologies. I'm not really good at this. So the loudspeaker was on. I couldn't hear you clearly.
Okay. All right. Okay. So tell us, what's happening in Zimbabwe. I was just surprised. My YouTube subscribers were telling me, why don't you talk about Zimbabwe? And I felt lost, like, what's happening in Zimbabwe? So please tell us what's happening in Zimbabwe.
Oh, okay. I'll try and explain the best way I can, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Because obviously I'm in the UK, so I'm not really on the ground, but I'll try to explain it the best way I can. So what's actually going on is, since 2017, when the new president took over, it was a coup, by the way, in 2017. So Mugabe was gone, and then came in the new president called EMMERSON MNANGAGWA. So when he came in, everyone thought he's the answer, like, because obviously Mugabe has been the president for so many years, for over 30 years. So people needed change, and then Mnangagwa came in as a savior. Fair enough. Everyone was happy. Everyone was in the streets celebrating. Promised the world. He promised us that he's going to take us from Egypt to the promised land of Canaan. and everyone was cool with it. So fast forward, things started going down. The economy started going down. Inflation. People started using local currency, and then the local currency was not performing well as it's supposed to be. People started losing jobs. Well, there were no jobs anyways. Like, I think probably about 91% of the people were unemployed. But it go worse, you know. Most of the money is in the informal sector. Like, people are selling things in the streets, selling whatever they can to survive. So that's what people survive on. But then he started introducing policies that that restrict all that. Like, people are not supposed to be selling in certain places. You know, like loads of restrictions on the income of people. So that triggered a lot of poverty to start, the poverty rates to start going very, very high. And then now, when you talk of the civil servants as well, like the doctors, the nurses, the teachers, and all sorts, they couldn't perform well because of they were earning in local currency, but the shops were charging US dollars. Like, for example, let's say you earn in Zimbabwean dollars, but when you go to the shop, they ask you to pay in US dollars.
Wow.
So it wasn't making sense, because by the time you change your money from the local currency into the US dollars, obviously it's hit by inflation. You don't do anything. Like, for example, right now, what teachers, nurses, soldiers, like most civil servants, what they're earning now is equivalent to, I think, about 30 US dollars.
Wow.
Maybe in pounds, for you to understand, that's about maybe 25 pounds a month.
Wow.
You know, yeah. So
that's like
anything local currency.
That's like 600 kwacha Zambian money a month. No, 400 kwacha, 450 kwacha.
Like
wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe something like that. Yeah. And also, even if it's equivalent to 30 US dollars, they are still earning it in the local currency. And like I said, it's really inflationary, can't do anything. So there's been a major backlash from the civil servants. Like, you know what, we can't perform well. Like the healthcare system, in the healthcare system, the nurses need to perform, and they need to be rewarded for the job that they are doing. So they couldn't perform well. The teachers, the same thing. The soldiers and the police, well, obviously they can't say anything, but they're also feeling the impact. So now, over the years from that 2017, that's like 3 years, the healthcare system has been going down. The hospitals are malfunctioning. Everything is just like worse. You know, during the Mugabe era, things were bad, right? Like, things were really bad. But this time, it's like we can't even compare it to Mugabe. People are actually saying the Mugabe era was even way better than what we are now. So in a nutshell, that's how I can explain it. So, and then, so people were like, okay, we're tired now. We need to be, we need to do a civil protest, a peaceful march.
Yeah.
And then they said we're going to do it on the 31st of July. That was like a few days ago.
Yes.
It started circulating around social media for a few weeks. You know, people saying, "Oh, we're going to protest on the 31st. We're going to protest on the 31st." So obviously, it got into the ears of the government. A few days before the 31st, soldiers they started mounting in the streets, in the CBDs, and in all the big cities like Harare and Blawa and Gweri and all sorts. And then after that, they started intensifying into the residential areas, like the local community areas, and trying to scare people. And then obviously, because of the COVID-19, it worked to their advantage as well, because
Yes. Yeah.
now you can have a reason to say everyone has to stay indoors because one, there is COVID-19, but then you can't let a good opportunity go by like that. So they had to use the COVID-19 opportunity to keep people in the indoors. And then the police were in the streets, the army was in the streets, helicopters circulating, armed police officers, armed soldiers, and all sorts. So come on the 31st, no one could come out because
Oh.
there were soldiers everywhere. Like, you come out, you get beat and all sorts. Let me take you back. A few days before that, there is a journalist called Hopewell. He's a very prominent journalist. He's been calling out in the system for a long time now. But the past few days before the 31st, like before the demonstration, he was sharing some information, some vital information about how the government is corrupt, like the Zimbabwean government is corrupt.
Yes.
And then he got arrested. They say he
Wow.
was inciting violence.
Wow.
Like, he's trying to mobilize people into doing violence, like looting, demonstration, and all sorts. Of which he was just exercising his right as a journalist, because, well, coming from us in the free world, a journalist is supposed to do their job. They have to report whatever they see fit. You know what I mean? So he was just exercising his right as a journalist to report what's actually going on. But then it was taken the other way. So he got arrested. Actually, they had to break into his house.
Wow.
Everything is recorded on the camera. Like, he recorded the whole thing, and then he uploaded it online. They burst into his house, and then they took him there. Well, apparently they abducted him. And then he went to the police and everything. He asked for a bail. They didn't give him a bail. I think he's still inside now, as of yesterday. And then, so come on the 31st, people didn't go on the streets, but there are few people, like some prominent lawyers and journalists, and a few civil individuals that went on the streets, right? Peaceful protest, peaceful march. They had their face masks on. They had placards saying, like it was nothing like inciting violence, nothing like inciting any demonstration. They were in their neighborhood. They were about 6 of them.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big crowd. Nothing fancy. Nothing sinister. But they were taken by the police, and the police say apparently they are inciting violence. They're more like enemy of the state. They were represented by their lawyers and everything, but as of yesterday, some of them are still inside. I'm not quite sure about the numbers, like who came out, who was released, and who wasn't. But Hopewell is still inside. So it triggered an uproar worldwide. Like, most people started following the hashtag Zimbabwean Lives Matter. And because the bottom line is there is gross abuse of human rights, apparently, and there is no freedom of speech, freedom of expression. The journalists cannot do their jobs perfectly because they are being threatened, apparently. Some of them have been abducted, apparently. And so everyone is in fear. So people got tired, like, you know what, we can't continue like this. We have had enough. The economy is bad. The leaders don't care. They spend millions. Like recently, during the COVID-19, there was a lot of money that was misappropriated, like the Minister of Health and Child Welfare, Smindo, took or participated in a corrupt activity of about $60 million that was meant for PPE, apparently.
Yes. Yes.
He went to court and everything, but you know how the system works. So people got tired, like, you know what, we can't continue like this. And that's why they wanted to take it into the streets. But then it didn't end up happening. So now, because you can't go in the streets, you get arrested, you can get killed, apparently, or whatever. So people are now taking it to social media. That's why
Yes.
you've been seeing the Zimbabwean Lives Matter hashtag
Yeah.
on Twitter and everything, and
Yeah.
celebrities from all over the world, starting from South Africa, like hip hop celebrities like Casper Nyovest and all the other celebrities in South Africa were rallying behind Zimbabweans with the Zimbabweans Lives Matter. We got Ice Cube, we've got Obama, we've got all loads of other celebrities worldwide and politicians were like behind the Zimbabwean Lives Matter movement. So it's just a way of raising awareness of what's going on, because the situation is worse. The situation is like, it's unbearable. People are starving, people are dying. There is no freedom of expression. There's no freedom of speech. There's no food. There's just nothing. So people are asking for change. Like, you know, we've had enough of all this. Like, it's too much. You know very well that Zimbabweans are quite peaceful people. We're different. We're chilled. We prefer to just work, make our money, and sustain our families. But now, people have had enough. Like enough is enough. You know. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. That's exactly what's happening.
What's happening?
You know.
Okay.
So,
Joyce Chilando has just said something which I don't know if, Martin, you're aware that we have Zimbabweans that, come to Zambia to buy trays of eggs and then they sell. Some of them are packing bottles. Some of them even sell sweets and biscuits. And, Zimbabwe was once a place that we really admired as Zambians. It was like our promised land. Zambians used to travel to Zimbabwe for business. Zambians used to go to Zimbabwe for education. Zimbabweans have this really great education system, and that's why across the world, they are the most migrants, except from, Nigerians are many, but Zimbabweans, you are doing so well. Across the globe in the UK, you guys are doing really, really well. So when you see these things happening in Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwe that you knew before and now, I mean, how do you feel? How do you feel about your country? Because it's just gone really down, really down. How do you feel about Zimbabwe?
Well, it's like yesterday I was speaking to this lady. I was like, you know what? Being a Zimbabwean is now like, it should be put on your CV. It should be put on your resume, like, because we have gone through a lot. And like a person like me, obviously we were born in the era of Mugabe, so we haven't seen any better, but back then things were fine. It was the land of milk and honey, like you were saying. Most people were actually emigrating into Zimbabwe. Like, we had Mozambicans, Zambians, Malawians, all sorts. People used to come to Zimbabwe. And then like, if you look at our farms as well, we used to produce, like, they say we're the breadbasket of Africa, but I'm so confident that we used to send food like all over Southern Africa. Whether it's tobacco, whether it's wheat, whether it's maize, whatever, you name it, until the year 2000, when from 99 onwards, I would say, things that's when the economy started going down. And then if like the past few years, we've been asking for maize from the Zambian government, of which it has never happened in history. It's really heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking, because like now, we are all over the world. You know, we have left our country, we have left our families, we have left our relatives, coming here, coming all over, like even Zambia, we're there, Malawi, Mozambique, the countries that we never used to go to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were actually the ones that were taking in immigrants into Zimbabwe, but now the tables have turned, and it's coming to us as a shock. You know, like it's really like it's mind-boggling. You know, we can't comprehend it. We cannot comprehend it. You know,
And this is
even the education.
yeah.
I think
The
Zimbabwe is
education
rated as one of the our literacy rate is very high. I think it was like 93%. But then it's not making any sense because even though we're so literate like that, but we can't perform. You know, like there's no opportunities. People are graduates, you know, or people got degrees, you know, but there are no jobs. There's no opportunity for you to exercise the education that you have. So everything is just being thrown into the bin because we can't do nothing. You know, it's really, to be honest, it's really heartbreaking. Really heartbreaking.
Yeah. And you know, like I'm reading some comments from my Facebook personal page. A very young and advocate, you know, from Zambia, Mumbi, says, "Our hearts are with you, Zimbabwe. We feel your pain. We are, you know, yeah." She says, "Aluta continue, victory are certain." And what is happening in Zimbabwe is like a reflection of what has been happening in Zambia. Mumbi is among the people that, you know, they had applied for permission to protest on the 22nd of June. And they were told, if you protest, exactly what you're saying, we are going to send police cars. On the 22nd of June, all the streets of Lusaka were filled with police. And we are asking ourselves, where is our democracy? If we are in a free and fair, you know, African states, how come we are experiencing this? Why are our leaders very selfish? Why do they want to have so much control? Like you said, we thought Emmerson was a savior of Zimbabwe, but he's rather making things even worse. Because I know Zimbabweans would talk those days during Mugabe, but I don't know if it was this bad. What would you say about, you know, the comparison between Mugabe's leadership and
well, I would say, you know, obviously because of Mugabe's age, right? The people that were around him were even worse than him. Well, not the age-wise, but I'm saying corrupt-wise. The same people like the Emmerson MNANGAGWA, the people that were around him during his time, and so the information that they were giving him, I'm not saying Mugabe was good. What I'm just saying is the same people that we have now are the same ones that were around Mugabe. So you are as good as your team, right? You are as strong and as wise as the people around you. So these people that we have now, the Emmerson MNANGAGWA, were the key pillars during Mugabe's time. So now with Mugabe, the good thing about him is when prices starts going like in a escalating or whatever, he would come out and call out on all businesses to say this has to stop, and then it stops. You know, but obviously over time, he was like hands-on, but then over time he lost touch with reality. The people around him were telling him, were misinforming him, like what's actually going on in the streets, what people are actually feeling, what people are actually going through. Because obviously it's a mess up. It's a messed up situation right now than it was with Mugabe. Mugabe was like was bad. But like I said, this time it's like probably 10 times that. Like our president, he doesn't have a clue. Mugabe was a smart
Yes.
man, you know. He
Mm,
was
mm,
quite
mm,
very smart. He
mm.
knew what to do, when to do it. But then the
Yes.
president that we have now seems clueless. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like
Yeah,
he's
I,
lost
I I
touch.
think
Like he's
I think I understand what you're talking about. This is the same problem that we've been having in Zambia over time, where we have recycled leadership. You know, we
yeah,
said we wanted change in Zimbabwe, and then obviously Mugabe was no longer there, and then we have this Emerson. He's quite young, and we thought things would change, but because he was around Mugabe those time, it's the same
yeah,
kind of behavior. Let's have
of course.
FK. FK, are you at work? How are you?
Hi, Madam Lily. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm okay. I know you've missed me on the live streams. I've been busy. Today we're having our own in the evening. What would you like to say about Zimbabwe?
The
There's
line is breaking.
our guest is from Zimbabwe. His name is Martin. He's shared a lot of things that I
Your line
wasn't
is
even aware
breaking.
of. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, maybe it's him who's breaking. He will reconnect.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
there's
saying.
Sydney.
I think someone said we made the mistake of putting the same people from the same party. The thing is, right?
Yes.
It's a case of choosing between two evils, right?
Yeah.
You've got two devils, right? And you
Mm,
know this one very well. But
mm,
you are tired of this one, so you can actually do anything to replace him. So we knew that
mm.
Mnangagwa was bad, right? Like obviously because of
Okay.
what he has done over the years. I'm not a politician, so I can't really give you enough detail about the situation as it is. But obviously over the
Mm.
years, he has done so much atrocities under the Mugabe's regime, right? But then
Oh,
we were just thinking like, you know what? At least you never know. Probably he might work out something.
mm.
So he came as a savior
Oh,
because he was helping us get rid of Mugabe. So in that
mm,
respect, we believed in him. We were like,
mm,
everyone
mm.
was celebrating. I'm sure you saw that on TVs and all sorts.
Yes.
Everyone was celebrating,
Yeah.
but we're just giving benefit of the doubt. Like,
Mm,
at
mm.
least things are gonna be well. But
Yeah.
go west.
Things haven't been. Let's just
Yeah.
check on FK because his signal kept on going. FK, how are you? And Mr. Sidney Kombe, can you please turn off the volume for the whatever you have radio because it can copyright my stream. Please turn it off completely. How are you, FK? What would you like to say?
I'm all right, Madam Lily. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, you still owe me a reply on your Facebook.
I'll check. I'll check. It's been crazy busy. It's not easy on the ground.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I have only maybe 2 or 3 words to comment. The Zimbabwean, they still made a mistake to still put someone from the same party, whether to remove Robert Mugabe. What they really needed is the change of the regime. Okay, they needed a new party to take over the affairs of the nation. I can compare it to us right now. If you say that, okay, for example, we don't want PF, and President Lungu is not eligible to start for 2021. So the best thing you can do is let us remove President Lungu, but we still vote for PF. It's the same thing. You get the point, because the mindset, their vision, and their objective are still they still remain the same. So we are not assured of change because they will still flow in the same stream. Okay. So, for example, in our case, what we need, if you have to see the total transformation in Zambia, we have to change the leadership of Zambia. And that's the same case, the same situation where our friend were. You get the point. I think we hated Mugabe because of the long-term, has been ruling for a long period of time. Okay,
Yeah.
so and he became hard. I think that's why a lot of people lost confidence in him. Okay, not that he was bad, no, but what they really needed to see change in the area where they expected Mugabe to be wrong. What they really needed is to change the regime.
Sorry, I can't show.
Moving Robert Mugabe and putting Emmerson MNANGAGWA, who was the vice president. It had not changed anything. That's why they're still facing the same problem, which in fact even more worse, because the owner of the vision, the owner of the vision at least used to try, but they're trying to run in the vision where the owner has been eliminated. Surely, how can they succeed? So that's a problem from the beginning. I didn't expect that MNANGAGWA can rule Zimbabwe to the expectation of the Zimbabwe. I knew that he would fail from the beginning.
Yeah. And Zimbabwe has so many intelligent people. I'm shocked. Like, they still believed in Emmerson's stories. Like you said, was it just an overthrow? He wasn't really put in power, was he?
No, it was.
It was
a coup.
It
was a coup.
Yes.
But then the other thing is, okay, you can go on.
Yes. Zimbabwe can have intelligent people. Do you know that we have intelligent people in Zambia, but until you came on board, we were still stranded. Okay. A lot of intelligent people, they are in a hiding. You see, if there's someone which makes a person to be more scared, it is intelligence. This person has awakened to the truth. Maybe, okay, if I take this step, I may be arrested. So most of the intelligent people, they end up becoming fools at the end of the day. Why? They know so much that what they know begin to show them. Okay, so they go into hiding. And then people who seem to be ignorant, they are taking steps ignorantly. And then they are excelling. Okay, so what we need is, as much as we are teaching people intelligence, okay, let us also teach them to take steps on what they are learning. What is more important? It is not what we are learning. It is putting to use what we have learned. That is what is more important. We have a lot of people who are educated, who know law, who knows what, but they are not putting it to practice. Okay, they can't take bold steps to begin to practice in what they have been learning. So how do you expect something to change? It cannot change.
Yeah, that's true. We have, thank you so much for your contribution. Yes. Yeah. That's very powerful. Takunda has been losing the signal, so I don't want to lose him. Takunda, what would you like to say before Martin can comment? What would you like to say? I believe you're from Zimbabwe. Hi, Takunda.
Yeah, my face.
No, it's okay. You don't need to show your face. It's fine.
Okay. It's because of safety reason. Okay.
No,
saying, also the challenge is what we have here in my. Okay, so the only thing that the same people who are in the government right now are the same people who were committing atrocity during of Robert Mugabe. So basically, everything atrocity behind him. So the only solution to African democracy, whereby when a leader wants to be a leader, he has to go to the shrine to go and swear that don't buy foolish things. You're going to say on a shrine, you don't do foolish. I feel because I don't want to lie to you. Yeah, you know, soup this side. Hang on. That's my point of view. I'm just gonna check out quickly. Yeah.
Okay. So you see, somehow we need to appreciate Zambia that we can even express ourselves the whole day and talk, and we're not in hot soup. He's had to leave because he doesn't want to be in problems. Martin is speaking because he's in the UK. He knows that he's safe. I was just reading something. Let me just. Oh, Zimbabwe. I'm disappointed. You know, when people were telling me, okay, Live Laugh is asking, what the gentleman was saying was that the only thing that we can trust our leadership in Africa is by swearing to a shrine to say, we promise to do this and that and that. And if they fail their promises, they die. That's what he meant. You know, those evil shrines that Sia1 talks about. I that's the reason why Sia1 is upset, because they promised him and then it didn't happen. I was reading loads of comments. Who's Dewa Mavinga, Martin? Who's Dewa Mavinga? Is he a celebrity? Dewa Mavinga. I was reading his tweet. Yeah. I was reading his tweet where he says, I, Dewa Mavinga, stand in solidarity with the victims abducted and tortured by the elements in Zimbabwe security forces. Victims include, and then he shared the images of the victims. So people have been abducted for simply asking for their basic human right to speak. This is bad, honestly. So that those are some of the tweets.
Well, when I can't really attest to me knowing personally the people that have been abducted, but there has been allegations, like it's in the news and everything. But when it comes to, there's a gentleman that spoke about Zimbabweans being intelligent people. I believe every country has got intelligent people, but information on its own is not power. The application of information is what brings you to power. So you can have all the degrees that you want, you can have all the PhDs you want, you can be as educated as you want, but if you don't put that into application, then it's nothing. It won't mean anything. Because if you look at it, we can say, yeah, we are one of the most educated people, but if our leaders are failing to, with that intelligence, are failing to articulate or are failing to perform, to bring best results, then the intelligence becomes null and void. You know what I mean? Like then it's nothing. You know, that's So in a nutshell,
and Live Laugh is just saying they are intelligent people in power. Unfortunately, when they have that power, they forget the reason they were fighting for change in the first place. Clarence Kime says, simply because at the end of the day, the younger people are the future. I think it's time they will be allowed that opportunity. I mean, there's one human rights man that we deal with on our live streams. He's from Zambia. He's in Iraq at the moment. And he just says, you know, he says it plain. If you want freedom, many should die, you know. So even in Zimbabwe, we expect that by the time people get to that freedom, or even if it's Zambia or any other African country, many people will lose their lives, because for people to give up that power easily, it's not just something they want to give up easily. Like you say, those are the same people that surrounded Mugabe, and now they're surrounding. They're the ones who are now in control now. Yeah.
Well, that's a very brilliant point, because the way we got our independence, it was through bloodshed, right? So sometimes it would be very naive to think that we can just go in the streets, protest, and take over the government. You know, I think there has to be, first of all, there has to be rule of law. We should be able to, when we vote and our votes count, you know, like there has to be a system that can allow that to happen. Because at the end of the day, of course, there has to be bloodshed that needs to be spilled, but we are not prepared for that. We are not ready for that, to be honest. You know, they were ready when they took over from the British government. They went for military, I don't know, attachments or whatever. They had Russia behind them, they had China behind them, and all sorts. But we are not prepared for that. We don't want war. You know what I mean? We don't want
Yeah.
We don't want any bloodshed.
Yeah.
Of course, it's necessary, but it's very unrealistic for us to be saying there has to be blood that has to be spilled. So what people basically are asking for is to be able to have a voice, right? Let's just be able to have a voice. Let's just be able to be heard. Okay. We don't care. You can just be the president. You can stay there, okay, for a given time. But we just want you to perform so that there can be food on our tables. We want to work. Zimbabweans want to work. At least if there is work for people, if the industry is open again, and people start going to work, people start earning their money and feeding their families. I mean, that's not a lot to ask for, because if you look at it, like 15 years ago, the industries were functioning. People were going to work, earning a living. You know, you finish your school, you go to work, you put food on the table, you manage to pay your rent or whatever. That's not a lot to ask for. You know what I mean? It's a basic human right.
Yeah. And this is what, you know, we keep on complaining about, even in Zambia. You know, like M&M is saying voting is rigged, elections are not free and fair. When people try to protest, they are being arrested. Are we ever going to be free as Africans? And that's why when I'm sharing live streams and we're talking about Zambia, you find people from Kenya, you know, coming on the live stream saying, look, this is what is happening in Kenya. The same thing that is happening in Zambia. It's like all the leaders have sworn allegiance to one thing. We are not going to help our people. And it's absolutely wrong when in the first place they are put in position in order for them to serve the people of their countries. FK, what's your contribution again?
You know, okay, there are a lot of things affecting us. You know, it is high time if know why we are voting for a certain candidate. You know, sometimes we are pushed to vote for certain people, not because that you have seen leadership quality in them, but just because.
Oh, your signal is gone. Okay. Meanwhile, Massimo Malumo says Zimbabwean people don't let the money allay your anxiety. This is the time we need to stand and pray. I believe there is a great miracle that is going to happen in Africa. We need to open our hearts. And what's the Chinese situation like in Zimbabwe, Martin? Are the Chinese also mistreating Zimbabwean workers? Do they pay them well? Because we've had that challenge in Zambia. Do you know anything about the Chinese in Zimbabwe?
Well, the thing is, what I can say personally is you can't expect a stranger or a man from next door to respect you when you can't respect your own. You can't respect your own kids. You can't respect yourself. So
powerful.
We can't expect the Chinese to come and respect us when we can't even respect our own. They are just coming, whatever they are doing, they're just looking at how the system is working, and then they'll be like, okay, so it's actually cool to abuse people then. It's cool to pay them whatever money we want, because that's what they're saying. How come the Chinese that come here into the UK, they don't do that? If you are labeling the Chinese to say the Chinese are abusing Zimbabweans, how come they're not abusing the British people?
The British people, true.
Yeah,
true.
They come here. There's Chinatown. We eat Chinese every day, all over the place. Have you ever heard any English person saying, "Oh, the Chinese are paying us below minimum wage or whatever"? No, they don't, because they see that the system here.
Or even the price of food in Chinese language, like in Zambia, Chinese restaurants have the prices in their language. Everything except the money is in Kwacha, and the number, everything is in their language. But in Britain, there's nothing like that. They respect the law.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly, because they have seen that there's nothing, you can't do that. So they know that they can't get away with it. They are doing that there in Zimbabwe and in Zambia and other African countries because they know that they can get away with it. So it's not the Chinese per se. Sometimes we have to look within. We have to look into ourselves, like, okay, why are people treating us like this? So probably it's because it's a reflection of what they are seeing in us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just like that's like the example we're giving to the British, that they come here, they don't treat people like that, but they go to Africa, they treat people like that. But it's the same Chinese, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
why are they taking advantage of Zimbabweans or Zambians?
Yeah.
If there's a rule of law, if the government had is not as corrupt, because the Chinese can get away with anything because of the corruption, right? So if you can get rid of the corruption that is on the ground, the Chinese cannot be let get away with certain atrocities that they are doing. I think it's just a basic phenomenon. Like, if you start treating your people right, everyone else will treat them right. You know. So and I think another mistake that we did is the whole political system, like the whole regime, has to change, because we can't change one part of the system and leave the other. It's just like when you want to change, you got 4 tires, right? And then they're all old, and then you take out 1 tire and then you put a brand new one, and then you leave the other 3 as old as they were. It means they're just still going to overpower the new one. You know what I mean? So if we are saying we need to change the system, then the whole system has to change. We have to take out the whole regime and then bring in new people, new ideas, new blood, and then I think that's the only way we can do away with this. Because if you look at this, the problems that Zimbabweans are facing are the same problems, or almost the same problems, as other African countries.
Yes.
And then what do they have in common? They have an old regime.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
They have they have an old regime. They have a rotten system, you know, that has been there for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Until we have a complete change of, first, the way we think, and then the way we operate. I think that's the answer that Zimbabwe and other countries need.
Okay, definitely. Thanks for coming on board, Martin. I'm just going to read a few comments and then we close the stream. Clarence Kime says, and as for working and simply putting food on the table is not enough. We have worked and been servants all our lives. So she doesn't agree with that. And she says, because we are afraid. Is it he, Clarence? Because we are afraid to fight. M and M Motive says, Clarence, people are not afraid to fight. People do not want bloodshed. We are just so peaceful. Like, we love peace. Clarence says, I will check in. Okay. Live Laugh says, our political system is adapted from the colonial days. The whole Africa needs a complete overhaul. At least in Zambia and Zimbabwe, we can even speak. Countries like Nigeria, you can't even speak much. You dare speak, you find yourself on the other side of life as well. Let me just read 1 or 2 comments just in case people are asking questions. Okay. Cassius Mumba is saying, so what are you going to do as Zimbabwean youths to see it that Zimbabwe returns its glory? And then Messi should be at work now. Messi, you come on the live stream later this evening. I just wanted to discuss this one briefly about Zimbabwe, because Zimbabweans felt like I was neglecting them. You know, I have so many Zimbabwean supporters. Messi says, our leaders don't seem to understand what their role is in government. They think they are there for us to serve them rather than the other way around. That's why they treat us the way they do when we want to protest. Yes. Let me see another comment from somebody else. Basically, people are saying, you know, similar things. I think people can link Zimbabwe to Zambia. Milimo says it's really heartbreaking looking at the way we, the owners of the country, Zambians, are being treated, just like Zimbabwe. Zimbabwean lives matter. Elijah Lufungo says that is the same problem we do have in Zambia also. I think it's high time that we have a wake-up, call as African countries. So thank you so much, Martin. What would you like to say to the Zimbabwean youths? Because obviously they will come and watch this later. What would you like to say? Would you encourage them to fight until they're in leadership, or if they'll just be looking at what's happening because they don't like peace. They like peace. They don't like problems.
Yeah, so basically we're just a peaceful lot. We're just a peaceful people, but obviously you can't keep pushing people right to the corner. You know what I mean? Even we have the animal instinct in us, right? All of us. If you keep pushing us like right to the edge, the survival instinct comes out. You know, when people get to a point of it's all about survival, you know, that's when the violence starts. So basically personally I don't co-sign to that. I don't want things to get to that bad. All I want is the youth are the future, and we've got a voice. We've got brilliant ideas. You know, we've got our country at heart, because when we are making decisions as the youth, right? Like we are in our 30s, right? So we make decisions that need to sustain us for the next 50 years. So the difference now between our leaders and us is, if a 70-year-old is the president, do you really think he can come up with a policy that can see into the future 20, 30, 40, 50 years when he knows that he's not going to be alive anymore? You know what I mean? So the way we make decisions are different. With me, I make decisions based on the future. I know that the decision I'm making now can sustain me in the next 50 years. So we need to be innovative, right? We need to think into the future. And our leaders that we have now, because they're old, they can't see into the future. They can't innovate. When it comes to putting even credit in the phone, they have to call someone to put credit for them. You know what I mean? That's how old they are. And so I feel like we need to be given the opportunity as the youth, because we are more innovative. We are now in the information age. This is the 21st century, in the information age. And we are the lucky generation to have lived before the .com, and we're now living in the information age. So we are more adapt to what's going on in the world. Which means our ideas are more global. So I think as the youth, we need to be given an opportunity to exercise our intelligence, and to exercise the power of being young, because the age is an equity. It's age equity, right? That's the only thing that we have. We have time. So we need to be given that opportunity so that we can exercise the equity that we have, which is time, because we still have a lot of time. So once we get that opportunity, I think we can change the whole trajectory of how Africa is going towards.
Definitely. That's very powerful. We need to change leadership in order for us to see a different Africa, and because we are young minds, fresh minds, things will change. There's a time I used to follow that young politician you have in Zimbabwe. What's his name? S. Lumumba? Does he speak anymore? Does he speak anymore? Because he used to speak a lot. Does he still speak, like online? Because he used to speak a lot about these things, what's going on. He used to have live streams. Does he still speak, or he's quiet these days?
No, he's really quiet. He's really quiet. You used to be very vocal, very vocal. But now he's quiet. I don't know whether it's a conscious decision, or he's been engulfed by the system, or he's been threatened. I don't know. I'm not in a position to say that, but all I can say is he used to be very vocal, used to have a huge following. People used to follow him.
I used to follow live streams as well. I mean, has he been told your family will die if you continue? Because he really used to speak a lot on Facebook. And this is another thing where young people like S. Lumumba, who have huge following that, talk about what's going on in government, suddenly go quiet because their life is in danger. And that's the freedom of expression we're talking about we don't have. Okay. Thank you so much, Martin, for joining us. And I can't wait to host you again. as we talk about more things. Next
You're welcome. You're
time we're
welcome.
gonna talk about how to make money in Britain. We tell people how
Of
you are.
course.
Martin is a millionaire, guys.
Yeah,
He's
you
a
can check
young
my
millionaire.
you can check me out on you can follow my Instagram or my Facebook pages Craig Twist, and yeah, we can share some ideas, we can collaborate, and we can move forward. Yeah, we can be progressive.
Send your link.
Okay,
Send
thank
your
you very
link.
much. You caught me off guard, but you know, I just had to do it.
Yeah, send us the link. Send us the link so that I should share before people go off and people can see. Thank you so much, Martin. Martin is a young millionaire from Zimbabwe.
Okay,
They
thank you
say
very
they
much. Yes,
take care. Bye. Bye. So Martin is a very hardworking young man. I actually help him. I work for him. He gives me lots of hours to work for them. He's in partnership with another gentleman who's also started his YouTube channel, and I've been encouraging them. You need to start a YouTube channel. You need to start a YouTube channel. So I think after this, they're going to start, because then there's a lot of things that need to be talked about Zimbabwe. So I've just seen a message from Mr. Gift Mwanga, who was saying, did I know that there was a meeting this morning? I didn't know. I was never told. There's my number, which I'm giving to everybody. And most of you guys know that I'm in Zambia, and you know, internet is not cheap. If you want to contribute, please do so. This live stream is as a result of a contribution from Mr. Kwachangwe. You know, I'm making sure I'm making face masks for my people. Let me show you something else. T-shirts, chitenges as well. One chitenge is 10 kwacha. Thank you so much for Michael Abotsi, who contributed some money yesterday, all the way from India, and it was complicated. He needs to send money to Nigeria and then UK, but we finally managed. Thank you so much. These are my loyal subscribers. So I need these T-shirts and masks, face masks. I've made over 400 masks now. This one is mine. Of course, I needed to have one, and I'll be distributing these. So we're just talking about what's happening in Zimbabwe, but we will be talking about Zambia, 6 p.m. Zambian time. Today we are lucky. We still have power. Now I can talk about power, but those days Okay, thank you so much. My phone went off. I didn't even realize that. So we're going to be having a live stream this evening. Inutu Mubanga says the situation in Zimbabwe is really worrying. I hope that Zimbabweans we stand with them as Zambians, definitely. And that's why I had to talk about it on my stream and give Zimbabweans an opportunity. This is not the end of it. I will have as many Zimbabweans coming on this live stream so that we can talk about what's happening in Zimbabwe and we can be updated, because we are neighboring countries. What's happening in Zimbabwe is not something that you can even wish for anybody. You know, I just want to read something for you as well. Oh, somebody's coming on board. This is what I love about these live streams. For our main live streams that we normally have is 6 o'clock Zambian time. So please be ready. After you eat your nshima, you cook for your husbands, your wives, you eat together as family. Then we'll have our live streams from 6:30 p.m. onwards. So cook in advance so we can talk. There's a lot we need to talk about Zambia. Let me just read something about Zimbabwe as well, which shocked me. Okay. Mark Fish says you're doing such a great job. Thank you. Yes, and I've received so many donations from people. So before I ended the stream, I want to, before the stream went off, I was showing the face masks. So these are face masks, the t-shirts. All these are sponsored by everybody from all over the world. So thank you so much. I am grateful for your support. I'll do a separate stream talking about everything. So Zimbabwean president has labeled the main opposition party terrorist and vowed to continue a crackdown on his opponents. Several opposition members and government critics have been arrested in recent days, and rights groups allege security forces have carried out illegal abductions. Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights says it has represented more than 20 people detained since last week, when the military and the police thwarted an anti-government protest that had been scheduled for Friday. The same thing happened in Zambia, where the young people wanted to protest, and Stephen Kampiongo said, if you want to be alive, protest. And he meant it. There was loads of police all over Lusaka, and people had to protest online and in the bush. We have every right, a human right, to protest against what's going on. If we're not happy about salaries, we need to protest. If we're not happy about leadership, governance, we need to protest. But the moment you declare that you want to protest, you become the enemy of government. That's not fair. So the president, in an address on television, state television on Tuesday, they have their own television stations where they can talk and talk and talk like this because they know they control that television station. President Emmerson described critics as a few bad apples that should be overcome, and indicated that arrests would continue. So he means it. And that's why the young people on Zimbabwe are silent, because they are being silenced. This is the cruelty of African leadership, where people want to remain in position. Even in Zambia, the Bowman Lushambo made statements in the video that I've shared on my YouTube channel where he said, we are not going to give up power easily. They don't want to give up power easily. But the question is, are they doing what they need to do in order to improve the livelihood of the Zambian people, the Zimbabwean people, the Kenyan people, the Ugandan people? No. This old leadership keeps recycling by bringing in the people that they've been working with. And that's why in 2021, the Zambians have decided the young people should be in leadership. I've also put myself forward. So spread the word. I want to stand as member of parliament for Monali constituency. We will overcome attempts, that's the president now, at the destabilization of our society by a few rogue Zimbabweans acting in league with foreign detractors, he said, warning that bad apples who have attempted to divide our people and to weaken our systems will be flushed out. Enough is enough. This is a dictator speaking. He says he's going to flush out people that are expressing their concerns about poor leadership, poor salaries, poor living conditions, you're going to flush them out for what? Africa for you. So he made a speech as a local and international pressure mounted on his administration, because the Human Rights Watch and other organizations and people have been using, the hashtag Zimbabwean Lives Matter. This has really drawn the attention, obviously, of international media, and he was saying that the pressure that has been mounted over allegations of human rights abuses, he doesn't believe that he's abusing anyone's human rights, but yes, he is. So, tipping point, security agents were deployed. So, like what Martin was telling us, security agents were deployed all over Zimbabwe, in the capital Harare and other major cities last week to follow the protest planned for Friday, resulting in empty streets that day. It's their right to protest, and then you deploy police. It's like they come from the same WhatsApp group with Zambian leadership. Okay, some people who tweeted in support of the demonstration or who tried to hold low-key protests were arrested. Even low-key protesters were arrested. Yeah, so we're standing with Zimbabwe, definitely. And some were assaulted and tortured, according to human rights groups and Tendai Biti, spokesperson for the main opposition party, the Movement for Democratic Change, MDC Alliance. So we hope Zimbabwe can face a change. Zimbabwe used to be one of the countries that we admired, like we've said earlier. Okay, BT told AFP news agency that the situation has become untenable. He condemned the government for closing political space, engaging massively in corruption and abusing the constitution. It's the same everywhere, we are at a tipping point. Something is going to give, BT said, warning that the other military coup could be around the corner. So they're saying that there could be another one. So this is police, soldiers stopping Zimbabweans, asking them questions. Where are you going with your food? So soldiers and police thwarted a planned anti-government protest last week. So investigative journalist Hopewell Chinono has been in jail for 2 weeks after he posted on social media in support of the anti-government demonstration and made a series of allegations of government corruption. Wow. Chinono awaits bail hearing this week. Internationally known author Tsitsi was bailed on charges of inciting public violence after staging a small protest. Journalist Mudzuzi and several members of the MDC Alliance are in hiding. So everybody is hiding because the dictator has said he will arrest them. Zimbabwean human rights activist Justina Mukoko deplored the lack of accountability among both government and police forces. We are suffering repression and criminalization of our rights work, she said, and adding that democracy had been compromised in Zimbabwe. So what's going on in Zimbabwe is more like Zambia, and what has happened in Malawi, where the young people said, we want change, will happen in Zambia if only we all take a stance. Goodbye to old leadership. So Zimbabwean novelist Tsitsi, so that's the lady that I'm using for my thumbnail. That's her. That's her that I'm using for my thumbnail. Okay, so, she's been charged with inciting public violence and released on bail after holding a small anti-government protest. Just for holding a poster, we are protesting. She's being charged. So there's obviously rising tensions in Zimbabwe. MNANGAGWA came in power as a result of military takeover in 2017. The president who won a disputed election in 2018 pledged to revive the country. But obviously this hasn't been the case. So that's all I wanted to say to everybody. 18 hours. I need to have a break. There's power throughout. We will have a live stream talking about the issues of Zambia as well. Let's discuss what change do we want to see in Zambia. See you at 6:30 in about 2 hours and 2.5 hours time. Prince says we can't blame our leaders, but as people, that's powerful. We keep on voting for the selfish leaders when BH Tenge's materials are given. It's so sad. And the thing is as well, even us, the young ones, you know, some of you know that when I put myself forth that I want to stand as a member of parliament, the young ones are fighting me because they don't believe a young person can be in position. You know, they're used to the old ones, 50s, 60s, to change Zambia. Well, I am putting myself forth because I know Zambia needs me and my community needs me. So if we have many young people that are coming forth, why not? We need more young people. As long as you're above 35, take your stance so that you should be part of parliament. Messi says Africa want democracy when they are not in power. As soon as they are in government, everything is thrown out of the window. Very true. Messi says they fought Robert Mugabe for the same things they are doing to others, you know, who question their practices. But, you know, Martin has told us, the live stream that he joined us in this live stream. He said, look, these guys were part of Mugabe. The bad things that Mugabe was doing, they were part of Mugabe. So even the military takeover was just like, okay, he's getting old now, let's take over. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. It's a girl, Lila Matams, also known as Galopa Z, girl from Zambia. See you in exactly 2 hours' time as we discuss the problems of Zambia. I love you guys. Nangu wanchinge ukufilwa na kana na la tuluku